Yes, and speak about the integrity, because in this election, Kenyans were hoping that they would face on the ballot people of integrity, because Chapter 6 is as old as the Constitution. Today, there was a judgment in Mombasa that directs your commission to clear Governor Mike Sonko or process his presentation to be a governor candidate for Mombasa. Just recently, there was another order to IEBC to process the candidature of Karungo Thang'wa for Senate in Kiambu County. Are you comfortable with these decisions? And if at all you believed in the decisions you had made at the point of returning officers, at the dispute resolution committees, are you satisfied, and what are you going to do about it?
Yes, thank you for that question. I think when it comes to the judiciary, we have had incessant court decisions, some conflicting, and then it puts the commission in an awkward situation. But as a commission, then we must obey the court orders and enforce the court orders. So you talked of the Kiambu and Mombasa, it's a court order, so it will have to be enforced and complied with. But notwithstanding that, I think I'm aware the issue around impeachment is been ongoing, and there's even a case in the Supreme Court which will be heard, I think, tomorrow. So I believe for the future there will be clarity along that line. But for us, how we operate, we follow the law, we implement the court orders as they come, and we don't have a choice on that.
But Chairman, yes, a High Court decision can be challenged at the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Will you?
Yeah. In terms of the matter of Sonko,
yes.
Let me put it this way. 26 days to election, we must finish printing ballot papers. Actually, we are even late in making changes to the ballot papers. So in most of these cases where we are, we don't have time to take another action. I have not read the judgment. I believe the team will read the judgment. But as a commission, we would want to finalize this process so that we can give Kenyans a credible election on the 9th of August. We cannot have a situation where we want to then to say we are not ready for that particular elective position. But so we shall implement the judgment. And then, if there are any other issues on the impeachment area, I'm sure they'll be cleared as we go along.
Okay, Chairman, this is very interesting because this flies in the face of Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
Yes.
Was it even necessary to be included in the Constitution? I mean, from your experience and practice of Chapter 6 and looking at the expectations, as it puts it, versus the outcome, right now, in this election, there are a lot of people who ordinarily, from the face of it, Kenyans will have not been voting for, but that's going to happen. So your experience working with Chapter 6 and even attempting to implement it, was it even necessary? And what are the challenges you have as a commission with implementing Chapter 6? Is it the courts? Or is it your own technicalities? Because even in the case of Sonko, you've just mentioned a technicality. Just because of time constraint, 26 days to the election, you will not be challenging this, right? So what is the issue? Was it even necessary to begin with? Because it looks as though we have not even implemented it.
Yes, I think that's a good question. As a country, we have a very good constitution, Chapter 6, very good. But the constitution cannot operate on its own. It needs legislation to operate. If you look at the legislation around Chapter 6, the Leadership and Integrity Act, it's a very weak legislation. If you look at it insofar as the elective positions are concerned, there's only one small paragraph, Section 13C, which says if you want to vie for an elective position, you fill a form, self-declaration form, and take it to IEBC to be cleared. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything else. So the first thing we are talking about here is weak legislation around implementation of Chapter 6.
And these legislations, yes, for the record, are about 6 that support that provision in the Constitution. So it's not just one, but proceed. Because if you base it only on that one, it will look as if it's only that legislation.
So there's weak legislation, number one. Number two, there's no case law that has defined how we should move. Where there's weak legislation, then the judiciary comes in and can give the way forward. Now, what you are seeing now, we had cases where the impeachment was for Sonko was, I think he filed the first cases in the High Court, and the High Court upheld the impeachment by Senate. But now what we are having now is, can the High Court is saying he should stand? So there's a bit of incessant.
Okay, Chairman, are your hands tied?
By the
There are names that you gave to the EACC for investigation. EACC gave you a list of over 240. Then you came back and said that your hands are tied and you cannot do anything with regards to this. I think out of the list of 240 40 names that you've given, it's only 2 that you actually acted upon. Look at it.
Yes, yeah.
From 240, you only acted. Are your hands tied? Are you giving up?
No. I think that's not the case. Let me tell you how we looked at the list from EACC.
Okay. Yeah.
There is Article 75 of the Constitution, which talks about impeachment and the issues around state officers and public office. Then we have Article 93(3), which talks about other cases where one may have been found guilty, convicted for more than 6 months, and then he has an appeal which has not been concluded. And that also goes with Article 193(3), which is about members of the County Assembly. 93(3) is about the members of National Assembly. So what then our understanding is that Article 75 is a standalone insofar as the issue of impeachment is concerned. But what the court in Mombasa has said is that Article 75 and 93 are conjoined. And you cannot separate. So long as anybody has an appeal, whether it's about impeachment or not, then he has to exhaust that appeal before then he is barred from contest. It's a legal issue, it's a constitutional issue, and I think the judiciary...
Chairman, because you also need to...